Okay, starting, actually doing a live stream for our Discord members and recording the video for YouTube at the same time. And then this way, of course, our Discord members, if they want to jump in, they can see it more quickly. And then, they can ask questions like that as well. Yesterday, I posted, this was about 11 hours ago, I posted a thing saying, well, there was this one first. We were talking about the descending broadening wedge, and here's what it looks like yesterday, and here's what it looks like now. So, not much change. Yeah, it can dip under it, and it can, here, let me make sure everything's working right first. Recording stream, okay. It can dip under that line. I could even take a line and just use the wicks here and say, okay, well, if I had drawn this ahead of time, then this hasn't even touched that. But I tend to use the candle bodies, so I'm fine with what it looks like currently. Now, I'm not saying it has to stop there. There are deviations below sometimes. So I do think, and of course, this isn't to scare anybody out of their positions. I'm still holding most of my positions. They're long-term plays. I did take some profit, 2 or 3 days ago, and then I took a little bit more last night as I saw this happening. I mean, this could be it. This could be the dip right here. I don't know, because there is some support here, but just understand there's a lot more down here at like 41 to 44K. So I do think that it could dip down there, but it's kind of like 50-50. I don't know for sure. These events are meant to shake you out of your position. So what I would say, and of course none of this is financial advice, just treat this as entertainment. You're kind of watching what my personal journey is and what I'm doing for myself. Deploying capital is what I plan to do, any extra capital that I have. But again, my goal is always to have enough money to pay for my bills, not take out any loans, not do any leverage, especially in situations like this. So just be careful, because especially if you have a family or, responsibilities, stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, this may seem like a really good opportunity, and you're getting dollar signs in your eyes, right? You're thinking, oh, wow, I could do leverage, I could take out a loan, I can make so much money on this dip, but you just don't know when it's going to stop dipping, right? So leverage is particularly dangerous in this situation. You don't want to catch a falling knife. You've heard that before. You're going to get a lot of people out there saying, buy the blood, when it's red in the streets, buy the, buy the panic, sell the euphoria, which is true. I mean, absolutely, you should be doing that. You should be buying the panic, but you shouldn't be putting yourself in a situation that puts either your family in jeopardy or, yourself. So, you don't want that stress over hanging over your head is the main thing. I'm going to show you some tokens that people are accumulating. And for those that are watching on YouTube, if you're not aware, we have some really nice signal channels where it tells us exactly what people are buying. We've got our curated wallets and stuff. And I'm about to add a new channel, I hope, which I'm sure our members are excited about this, but I'm about to add a new channel that can get you into some pretty good early meme coins. The only problem with this is they kind of have a short fuse. If you jump in right away, like this one, for example, if we were to, what is this, Black Swan? I can show you, where's it at? So here it is on Photon. It's this one right here. So it is at 200K market cap. When this signal was called, it was 9:17 a.m. my time anyway, which would be, wait, is this timer right? Or maybe I have the wrong one. Oh. Well, I don't know that I don't know what time zone this one is figuring this on. But let's see, right now, that was 20 minutes ago, so I can figure it that way. So that was about, yeah, it would have got you in real close to the bottom. So sometimes this happens, and you can see it moving up right now too. But sometimes this happens that it gets you a really good price. Like, I mean, I've tested these myself. and a lot of them do end up working. But let's just say it got you in there. That's a 5x in just a matter of minutes. So, I'm trying to get this set up. I hinted at it with our group, and if I can get it working, I'm working with the dev right now that kind of owns the bot that handles this, and we'll see if we can get it going. Let's see. Yeah, so that's pretty exciting. Even with all the stuff that's going on, and worried about what's going on with the war, I would just say, try your best to get outside, do things you enjoy. I know today's a work day for a lot of people, but just try to get your mind off of it, because this stuff happens. I mean, within a matter of days, you get a dip, and it'll usually stabilize, and then it'll turn around and go the other way. So we'll see what happens. Here, let me see what this member said. So Epicure, oh, sorry, shouldn't be using his name. I may cut that out. So, which is just his handle, he may not care. But he said for the live stream, could you take a look at WQuill wallets I follow? Wallets that he follows seem to be taking a very large position today. Yeah, I'm sure they are. A big dip like this. Must confess, it's a little scary looking at prices right now for what you hold. Yeah, I definitely agree. And he's sure that opportunity will come out of this. Yes, for sure. Yeah, so a lot of people, he's just mentioning that, he's pretty deep across the board at the moment, which, did I say red? Pretty deep red across the board at the moment, which a lot of us are. It's no different for anybody else. Anything you're holding right now is probably down. I will give you one example. I was looking at SNSY yesterday, and this is one of the reasons. I mentioned the 30-70 rule just the other day. I noticed that SNSY was hitting 70 RSI, and I was thinking, well, the war and everything. So I alerted the group that I did take some profits on SNSY, and it turns out that an AI sell signal showed up shortly after that. So we don't need these AI signals. We can use like a 30-70 rule with RSI. So if you're on the daily chart on any token, once it hits 30, it's pretty oversold. And then once it hits 70, you could take some profits. I mean, any of these places actually would have been a good place to take profits. But if you're holding long term, of course, it's fine to just keep holding. My expectation on something like this is that between this support and bullish line, because SNSY is down so much, what is it down? Or it was down 90%. I mean, it could go down more. These tokens can go down 99% and still recover, and I'll show you an example here in a second. But my expectation on this one is maybe it just bounces between support and bullish line here, and this is a good place to accumulate, because since he hasn't done anything, just kind of did a small pump, and then it's been nothing but down since. We did catch the bottom right in here. I think I did a 2x on my call when I purchased it. So, we did make a little bit off of it already, but we had to be patient about it. If you were to look at, we played this one as well called Sturdy. So a lot of people will say, well, a token falls a lot like this, it's never going to recover. That's not true. We played this one, and look what happened. It actually went under the original market cap that it started at. And I'm not saying you should always play tokens like this. I just want to make the point that, if it comes down, that was only 80% actually. Some of them go down 99%. I've got people saying that once they're down 70%, they never recover. Well, there's your proof right there. It's just not true. And we've played a couple of tokens like this before. This isn't the only one. So that was an 8x move from the bottom. You're not going to catch the exact bottom, but this inverted head and shoulders is usually where you would get in. And I think we did a 6x on that. So, okay, so let's close that and let's get into more macro view real quick here. Drew this squiggly line starting in April, or at the end of April, and currently it's following it. I see no reason to be concerned about anything currently. Now, one thing I will say is what happens if it comes down to here? You may say, is it done if it comes down this far? I don't think it'll get down this far, but just understand that it could. Because that would be the neckline of this inverted head and shoulders, or close to it. So, what if it retests that? It's definitely possible. But my base case is somewhere around 37 to 42K is most likely. So even if this line doesn't hold initially. I think it will get back above it. So this squiggly line could be more like this, where it touches it. Because this did happen back here. Although this was a black swan event, this did happen where it got under it. Just remember that the quicker it goes down, the quicker it's going to recover. This was more of a steady climb, and I think this is more like what we're doing right now. This 2015, I think, yeah, 2015, 2016 move. This looks more similar to what we're doing right now. It's just like a steady climb. I think that's about all I wanted to say there. Let me just make sure there's nothing else, and then we can get on to what people are buying currently. I'll look at WQuil as well for one of our members. And for those of you that are in here, feel free to ask questions in the chat. You can DM me, whatever. Yeah, so I think we covered pretty much all of it. Okay, so let's move on. Here's a token I saw that was being accumulated this morning, and this did show up right here. That's why I wanted to mention our signal channel. Hang on, I lost my Discord. Okay. MOG, ZKML, HashAI, DSYNC, BasedAI. Yeah, there's another MOG right there. Yeah, there's DSYNC, CHI. So CHI is the one I'm going to look at, one of them. Bread has been accumulated on this dip. And then we also have our AI token alerts as well, when there's inflows and outflows, when people are buying, as well as RWA token signals. So these are ones that we have on a spreadsheet, like Research plays. And we'll do a gaming one soon as well. All right, so let's look at WQuil. Oh, I do want to mention this first, but let me open up WQuil so I don't forget it. Okay. Yeah, so Nansen query, our group is a part of Nansen Professional version, or Nansen Alpha, and they have kindly provided, and many of our members have purchased Nansen actually, so it's not just that it's me. They do their own research as well, and that's one thing that's really good about it, is we kind of share ideas. But what you're looking at here, around the end of March, actually about middle of March, I was telling people that it looked like things were going to roll over, and that's exactly what happened here. This purple line is a, what is it? It's the percentage of coins that had a cross of the 180-day above the 360 days. So that's usually a bullish sign. But when it crosses down, or it starts rolling over like this, that's at least a short-term bearish signal or a downtrend that's coming, and that's exactly what happened. So currently we don't have a curl back up just yet, though I would suspect we're not too far from it. And the reason I say that is because this teal line here at the bottom is the entry threshold. You can see here November 20, well, this was May 2021 when we had that first dip, and this is November 2021 where the second, like the major top happened last cycle. So this was the exit threshold. So anytime these things get up into here, you know that things are very overheated. And now we're kind of cooled off at this point. It's getting real close to it. Let's see, February. Yeah, so these two areas, once it crossed back above here, actually March, I'm trying to remember when, I think it was September. Yeah, October was the big pump last year. So notice how this thing caught that exactly. It got above the entry threshold, kind of retested it, if you want to put it that way, and then everything started curling up. But the purple one reacts quicker, so it's the one that I watch. So you can see this was kind of coming down, and then eventually it started curling back up. So it's interesting that it happened, right during October when the first major pump happened, where pretty much every token went up. And so that's what we're looking for right now. I don't think this has much further to go. I can't imagine that it would, because we're getting down into these entry threshold. It's basically a discount on everything, right? So people are going to start buying. And I really don't consider a recession anything like that. A lot of that stuff is noise. They're going to use the market conditions against you to get you out of your position. And here's the other thing I look at is that as long as you're not risking, like we were talking about earlier, your family's money, bill money, stuff like that, you almost have to be invested in risky assets, because how else are you going to keep up with inflation? I mean, sure, it could be a little bit of a gamble, but we almost have no choice the way the world is. What is this? I don't know what this means. These little dots here. Okay, WQuil. Yeah, there's definitely people purchasing here. Let's see, 136K. Somebody bought a lot. Yeah, so the buys are bigger than the sells. If we were to look at smart money last 7 days, there's one that bought, and we can look at their wallet and just see how good they are at buying and selling. Yeah, that was a pretty good buy and sell there, and then they're accumulating again. Their win rate's not great, but I mean, really, if you've got a 40% win rate, yeah, okay, here we go. So their all-time win rate's pretty good. Almost $1 million in realized profits, that's great. So yeah, I mean, we can trust this wallet, it's pretty good. Let's see. So yeah, this volume bar is as big as this volume bar, and that's when it was going up. So as soon as the market turns around, you would suspect a token like this would get a pretty good move back up. I don't know anything about Quill. This is the wrapped version of it. We could look at the chart. Gotta make sure I don't save over that. Is that the right? Oh, I do have one, okay. Yeah, I need to redo this. Looks like it has an AI sell signal. There's not a whole lot of, I mean, I would put the support back down here at this point. 50 RSI is bearish. Engineering Robo AI is bearish. Yeah, I'd probably put the bullish line there somewhere. I mean, there could be a support line here as well at 17 cents, but anyway, yeah, that's kind of what it looks like right now. Not much to say other than, if it gets down to support, that might be a good place to buy. We just don't know if it could keep going down further. There's not enough information to know where support resistance is other than this support right here. And CHI, I don't know anything about this one either, but I just found it really interesting that the last 2 days there's been massive buy volume, and it was by this smart money wallet here. Yeah, look at all this volume. How much did they buy? 21 million tokens. Let's just see what they look like. This might be a brand new wallet, actually. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, they have 80% win rate, and it doesn't show much realized P&L, but brand new wallet, could be a really good trader. We don't know. They might be trying to hide their activity. But I think it is, it's not really all that easy to get a smart money wallet tag on Nansen. So just understand that anybody that has this, they've done a really good job with their buys and sells, even if their win rate isn't that great. At one point they were making some really good buys and sells. They were taking profits. Yeah, so this one, we could see just what the chart looks like here. It doesn't seem like a token with a lot of volume. I mean, you can just tell the way it's real flat like that. So because of that, I probably wouldn't be interested, but it is way oversold. So that's probably why this person's buying. So yeah, not a whole lot to say about that one. And we'll just jump in here. Actually, here, let me close this out. Actually, let's do this. I'm going to open up a couple of these. I want to look at DSYNC. What was the other ones that were showing up? MOG, ZKML, HashAI, BasedAI. Okay. Let's just take a quick look at these, and we'll wrap it up unless there's questions. Let me verify. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions. BasedAI, I mean, a lot of these are going to look the same, right? Price coming down. When they near a bottom here, you're going to see some kind of volume step in. But notice how the volume was still high here, all the way down. Now, some of this could be sell volume, but I guarantee you near the top here, like look at this massive volume candle right here. It's the biggest one, 9 million in volume. The reason why you see this is people, most people don't know how to trade. They'll jump in when price has already gone up, 10x, 20x. because they think it's going to be easy money. But imagine, and let me bring up the chart here to make this point. BasedAI. Okay, so I want to bring up the chart to make this point because let's just talk about, let's say you miss this first move here, and I'm going to turn off everything. Let's say you miss this first move here, which is fine. I mean, most people aren't going to get that first move. So this already, that's 157x. And if somebody was lucky enough to buy it down here, I mean, don't you think they're going to be taking profits on the way up? And then they're probably going to leave some in because they didn't get out and they saw it coming down. They said, well, I'll just hold the rest of it or something. So this next move was only, I mean, I say it's only 30x, but compared to this move, it was nothing. Yeah, so for some reason, and maybe it's just lack of experience, but for some reason, people want to jump in up here for like a 2 or a 3x. I mean, it's just not worth the risk, right? Why jump in for a 2 or a 3x and take all this risk that it could come down further? And that's why I tell our group all the time, I don't like chasing green candles. I want to get in before. And that's our goal. You know, right now, or maybe within the next week or two, we're going to find that bottom. And that's the time to buy your discounted things. And who knows, you may get lucky and get a big mover like this if it's a newer token. The older tokens probably aren't going to do this, especially higher market caps. Higher market caps might do a 5x at most the rest of the way. And I'm talking about like top 10 type tokens because their market cap's already high. But yeah, I mean, for some reason, people want to get in at the very top, and it's just, the risk to reward is horrible. You know, you want to get in while, I talk about this all the time, you want to get in while we're doing one of these. I've got a little education channel here that I did this illustration right here. You want to get in on a triangle breakout, a falling wedge, or consolidation. And the reason why these are so important is because buyers and sellers are, well, this is mostly selling here, but buyers and sellers are going back and forth, and then eventually the sellers get tired and the buyers step in, and that's when price pushes up and you've gotten the best value that you can for your money. Okay, so that is BasedAI. I don't think, let me just verify. I don't think I have a chart for this one. Okay. So I'm not going to go into this one because it's coming down. I fully expect it to at least come down to 32 cents. But we'll see. I mean, it's lost important structure there, in my opinion. DSYNC, we'll look at that. Remember, these are ones that are showing up that have been accumulated today. Doesn't mean that these smart money wallets are correct, that it's just going to be ready to go from here. But just wanted to make a point that they are buying it. We did a 33x on this one, and this is a really good example to follow up what we just talked about. The reason why we got into this one, here's the downtrend line. It's kind of like a triangle, really. At the time, it was just kind of like a triangle. And we liked these patterns, so we got in somewhere right in here. 33x, really good play. And now it has, I mean, you just call this distribution. This is Wyckoff distribution 101. It's churning up here because the people that bought way down here are taking profits. That's all it is. So there is a lot of support right here, but if it loses that, like TP3 right here would be your support line. It can come down to TP2 though, so just be aware of that. The reason people are buying right now is they think it's about to pump, but there's very important, I mean, you could even put this right here. There's very important resistance areas. In fact, I think I will leave that there. So it has to get above this line before it gets bullish again. And if we look at the RSI, where's it at? Close this one, okay. Yeah, so it's bearish. It's under the 50 RSI. It hit the 70 RSI perfectly here. So even if you would have bought this 30 RSI, I mean, look how easy this is. I mean, how hard is it to just wait for something to hit 30 RSI on the daily and then sell it to 70? Is it really that difficult? I don't think so. If you would have bought here and then sold at the 70, you would have made almost 200% over, I mean, 24 days, that's not great to just make 200% over 24 days, but some people would kill for that. They'd love it. What else do we want to talk about here? So we talked about DSYNC, and don't get married to coins. That's another thing I would say. You've got I'll give you a really good example. So you've got KAS. I mean, the great thing about these communities like KAS and MOG is they are cult-like, and that's great. I mean, that's what you want out of a community. But the problem is a lot of these people get all wrapped up in the community and saying, I'm not going to sell, I'm not going to sell. And I think to a certain extent that's good, like whales holding, it's good for whales to hold. But people need to be paying themselves. I mean, they need to take profits. So I've mentioned to the KAS community, through other like big KAS holders on Twitter, I've posted in their comments over the last couple of days and said, take profits because this thing needs to cool off. And nobody knew for sure that this dip was coming like this, but there was plenty of war talk, right? So you have to assume that something was going to happen. So we were talking about it in our Discord about how, maybe have some money on the side, 10 to 30%, just so you feel like you can take advantage of it. It's a mentality thing. You want to feel like you're at least being able to take advantage of the market if things like that were to happen. So it's all mental. Sentiment is really king when it comes to trading these markets. If everybody is fearful, you need to be buying. If everybody's euphoric, you need to be selling. It's that easy. And it's really the same idea as 30 RSI versus 70 RSI, although, RSI can stay up in the 70 range for a while, or it can stay in 30 for a while. So just be aware of that. So we have this is a whale here. They purchased, and this may be somebody that purchased before, some MOG. Yeah, it looks like they were accumulating on the way down. And if you have a lot of money, you can afford to make mistakes like this, buying too early. But for most of us, we don't have a lot of money, and we need to try to extract as much value as we can and try to wait for at least close to bottom, within 20% of the bottom. Okay, so MOG, we talked about DSYNC. Let's look at MOG chart. I guess the takeaway from this, by the way, is that I don't think we've seen the bottom on these just yet, especially ones like MOG. So if you got a token like KAS or MOG, and I did take profits on MOG just the other day at the very top, and I did mention it to the group, mostly it was because of the war talk, though. So if you had a token that really hasn't corrected that much, and by the way, we got into MOG down here off of this triangle. We had another great play. But, if you haven't taken profits on something that looks like this, or it maybe looks like KAS, I mean, it just blows my mind why anybody wouldn't have taken any profits in KAS at all at this point. Hopefully they have. But I mean, look at this chart. It hasn't done, I mean, this was really the signal right here. This was the warning signal, because you can see that this was holding a pretty tight line, and then all of a sudden it loses it, and now it came back up. I mean, if you extended this, I don't know, I could probably put it there or, anywhere here. But if you extended that, you can see how it starts to reject that line. And there was plenty of warning signals here. So nobody has any excuse except for greed if they didn't sell over the last couple of days for this one in particular. But, that's the cult-like thing. It has its advantages and disadvantages. Some people get caught up in it and they just don't sell at all because of the hype. And the most important thing with any of these projects, by the way, is you don't want your team to go away. So as long as the team is active in the project, then there's hope for it. Even if it drops back below whatever market cap it started at, Let's see if there's anything. Oh yeah, ZKML is one we were going to look at. And I do want to mention one other thing real quick. I thought that MOG was maybe going to go up here first. So, I don't get these right every time, and I don't pretend to. I don't do like some of these other Twitter people and delete posts if it doesn't work out. I did think that this was going to go ahead and keep moving up, but sometimes these events happen and it changes the course of the structure of the token. Because I was comparing this to, I forget what it was. I don't know. There was some other token I was comparing it to, and the fractal just didn't work out, and they don't always work out, and that's fine. ZKML, this is actually pretty nice here, how it had a kind of a change in structure So it was way down, kept going down, and now all of a sudden it's trying to build, higher highs, higher lows. So I wonder if ZKML is possibly going to be one of the first ones to move out of here. Well, I mean, Bitcoin is going to have to find a bottom first, though. Yeah, well, you know what? It kind of rejected there, so you can't really say it just yet. But the AI buy signal found that the 30 RSI, if you use the 30 RSI rule, you bought the bottom basically. And what would you have made? Anywhere in here, you would have made like a 4x or something, 3 to 4x. So over a week and a half period, that's pretty good. Yeah, so for now, I would just say it has to close back above the bullish line on a daily chart. Otherwise, it's at least going to come down about 50% retracement, which would be 9 or 10 cents. All right, let's see. HashAI we haven't looked at yet. Kind of the same thing as what we just looked at. I may have this one. No. And I will look at a couple of other things, just see if we could find some new tokens that showed up. But I try to make these videos as short as possible because I know how busy everybody is on Mondays, especially I am too. Under 50 RSI, not much to say here. Yeah, I mean, it's bearish. I don't really like it right now. I would say, at least wait for one like this here or maybe there, because that's where it first got bullish. So yeah, anywhere in here might be a good buy opportunity, or just wait for the 30 RSI hit, and it's not going to hit perfect every time. Sometimes it can come up short of it. So just remember the 30-70 rule. It works so well. The only time I wouldn't use the 30-70 rule as much, let me show you on Bitcoin. I just want to show you on this last cycle. It may have even worked there. Yeah, so coming out of 2020, it got close to the 30 RSI. It didn't quite touch it, but it did down here. So this would have been a wonderful, really good buy. Yeah, this would have sold the 70. That's a 70 hit. And, anytime it hits a 70 after breaking out of the 30 like this, and it comes back down and gets close to the 50, as long as you're in a bullish market, that's your buyback area, the 50 or close to it. So here's another sell. Here's another buy. And here's what I wanted to mention. Notice how it stayed above 70 for a while there. You usually, if you're in a bull market, you want to take your profits slowly. Don't take them all at once. Here's another 50 touch after 70, lost support, and then it stayed up in this 70 for a long time. So there's a couple ways to look at it. You could either, let me make it really big here. You could either wait for this 70 to break back down below the line, and then that's where you take your profit. Because I think, yeah, that would have worked there. And then here's a 30, here's a 70. $30, $70, yeah. So notice how it never got back. I mean, it touched 70 there, but it never got back into the 70 until here. So when you're in a bear market like that, when you're in a big downtrend, it's not going to touch 70. It's mostly going to hang out near 30, and look how many times it touched it. So anyway, I just wanted to make that point because it's so powerful, and it's one of the simplest. I mean, you'll get people on Twitter all day bashing the RSI, and I have no idea why. I don't think they know how to use it. And it's big accounts too. Let's see. I've never seen this one. Let's see what that one's about. These are, I'm just looking at different things here, different tokens that could be interesting to view. Stark. There is some money coming into the market for sure. I mean, look at this. Stablecoin exchange flow is starting to curl up. There's no doubt that people are buying right now, but I don't know that it's the bottom just yet. We'll have to see. Jasmy. Kind of looking for new things. that we haven't seen. So we're getting into inflow that's not that much money, so I'm not going to worry about that. What am I thinking? Hot contracts. We can look at hot contracts. I know some of you enjoy this because only Nansen Professional people can, people that have purchased a Nansen Professional, which is about 10,000 with my 10% discount. It's pretty expensive, so not a lot of people are going to want to buy it. But I bought it for our Discord group because I thought it could be very helpful. What are we looking at? We've got smart money wallets entering this one, so we can take a look at that. It's a pretty big inflow, 1.2 million. I don't know that we're really going to find anything. Let's see. So liquidity pool. So these are only tokens. Okay, let's do this. We're just looking for brand new tokens. Okay, we're sorted by age. This one, yeah, so this is one we were going to look at. It was created 3 hours ago. This is kind of how we found DSYNC. I just don't know if the market timing is right on this. I don't really like the way that one looks. Maybe this one looks better. Okay, yeah, let's take a look at this one. Oh, I saw this one pop up yesterday. Okay, so this one may already be done. I don't know. It may have already had its move since it's a meme coin. Yeah. Started way up there. Yeah, I don't like this. It's just not worth jumping into. Yeah, so just not a lot going on right now as far as hot contracts, but I'm gonna keep an eye on it for you. I'll check it every day or so and see if anything's popping up. Once things get really bullish again, we'll probably be able to throw a dart at tokens and hot contracts and get in early and make lots of money. But we're just we're needing that next leg up. Let me make sure there's no messages here. Okay, so I think that's all I wanted to say. Let me just make sure here. Yeah, I know I went off in a tangent and talked about a lot of different things, but I felt like it was really important. And don't let what's going on worry you. I'm not worried. If you've been through a cycle before, you're probably not worried either. We are going to get that next leg up. The presidential chart, like I was showing before, probably happens sometime October, November, something like that, something closer to the election. It could even start recovering around September. So maybe we just have this for August or something. The charts are kind of working themselves out, and then things start turning back up, or at least flattening out again. Okay, well, I appreciate all of our members for joining. If y'all have any other questions in the Discord, let me know, and I'll be happy to answer them. It is a busy day for me. I do have a full-time job, but I'll get to them if I can. And for everybody else, if you're interested in joining our Discord, check out the description. If you're interested in a 10% discount on Nansen for the Pioneer version, which is just, what is it, 1,000 or 900 a year, make sure you use that discount and hit like, subscribe, all that, and we'll do another one. Hopefully I can do another one this week. We'll see. And that'll do it. Y'all have a good week. Thanks.